Okay, hello everyone. It's my fourth talk. Today I'll talk about a side project that I developed for many years now, and it's helping me to manage a part of my financial life. So let's begin. So I'm Yves. I'm a Swiss developer. I founded Be Interactive many years ago. I'm a bicycle traveler and a developer, many other things. So I founded Be Interactive. It's a small company. I'm working on my own with other partners for many years, and we developed Popcorn application. It's a first native PHP try for me, which is working fine. You can find it on the App Store and the Android Store now. File Manager is an open source package that I presented a few years ago. Tab is the project I will speak about today. And Loch Ness CMS, it's a small CMS that I developed for my clients, and that is working like Filament or WordPress or stuff like that. And also Bicycle Traveler, that's me at North Cape in 2015. So that's already 10 years ago. So it's quite a journey. So what we'll talk about today is a small application called Tab, and a short story about the context, why I developed this, and then a demo and a bit of code, but very few code. It's more like showing how it works than really coding, and then conclusion. So Tab, a few years ago, I was speaking with one of these insurance guy who was talking to me, like trying to sell stuff to me. And one question he had is like, do you know your financial status stuff, what you earn, what you're paying, or everything? And I was like, no idea, because I don't have a contability program, or just like something is coming in from the client, I pay my bills, and that's it. And since there is money on my bank account, everything was fine. So yeah, I started thinking, and yeah, maybe I should try to have a vision of my financial life, what's going on, what's coming in and out, and stuff like that. So I started with an Excel file and started recording what I pay, what I come in, and I used a lot the Tab touch on the keyboard, and that's why it's called Tab today. And the symbol also is like the Tab logo. So that's a bit of the story. And then I was like, yeah, I'm developing with Laravel, so why not trying to, ditch the Excel stuff and try to make a full small application working for me. And that's how I get into this project. It's a small side project for me. I was working on it on the train when going to work, 20 minutes here, 1 hour here. It's like maybe now 5 years in the making. So I know a lot of stuff. I learned also a lot of stuff, like some patterns, also with the Laravel updates. So it's like, okay, now it's a new version. Let's try some stuff from the new version on my side project. So there is no client need or money or anything. I just can create anything I want. So that's kind of cool. It's a project I'm working since, and I have many project ideas. Also maybe use it with native PHP for mobile application, or anything is possible. And since it's my project, I can do whatever I want. So that's a brief story. Some of the technologies that is running for Laravel, of course, it's based on event sourcing. So all the transactions are events. It's really the most basic example you can see for event sourcing. But I started there years ago. So I thought it's a good idea to learn about this complex pattern. But when you're into it, it's like, I can never go back. It's so useful. So it's really nice. I'm using the Spassy package here. There is a few packages out there, really nice. So, but for this project, since it's the first one, the Spassy package was available. And then I have a lot of out services for doing the stuff I will show you. Mindy, it's a service for scanning receipts like this one, when you buy something somewhere. Then you have cron jobs we're running, mail parser also. I will show you an example. OpenRoute and Algolia for searching throughout all my transactions for helping me if I already saved one transaction or not, or stuff like that. At the end of each month, I do like, okay, did I take anything that happened this month into the application? So I do some checks so that the search is really handy here. Okay, let's show the application. Nothing really fancy with the design. It's Laravel Breeze under the hood. Also, it's a bit of color, but the idea here is not to focus too much on the design. It's more like the functions and do the work. So as you can see, you have some data, just like summary of what's going on. And as you can see, it's blurred out. You can unblur the stuff. Because for example, you're like showing something to some person, but you don't want to show the revenue you have. So it's quite handy to hide some stuff. It's more like also a quite disclaimer, all the data you will see are fake. So don't rob me at the end. Yeah, it's quite a good month. Then I have some categories you can define for anything you want, basically. And then you just say if it's a professional expense or not. I'll tell you after why. And then you have all the transactions. You can see some are in French, because I'm French speaking. And here are the transactions. For example, you can see the Apfelschorle. And then just a small details. For some stuff you have a receipt, for some not. It depends. Here at the bottom, it's more like the whole application is more like mobile first. That's why it's so wide at the bottom, but it's more like, for me, I use it on the mobile, so it's more, that's just the search, the classic search. I can filter by month or year, which is very handy when you just want to see what's going on for this month. Instead of searching the whole transaction, there is almost now 4,000 of them since the beginning of the use. And here it's the interesting part, the button. Here it's for adding new stuff. And here you can see that's Alpine and Livewire all together. It's quite nice to see the, yeah, also it's very good for learning because I imagine the behavior of the application and then I try it to fit what I wanted with Alpine or Livewire, and then it's working quite nice. For example, I can import or scan a new transaction. For example, a receipt. I can go back. I have manually adding something if I don't have transactions or a receipt to scan. Then I have, for example, savings. If I want to start saving for later, I can add a new category. I have some transactions templates because it's always the same amount, or it's always like a rent or stuff like that. Also, I can, for example, for some stuff like Coop, Migros or stuff, just specify the amount. And if I come back, I also have recurring transactions, for example, the rent again. So I don't care about anymore. I just add if it's a month, recurring transaction, if it's a year, a week, which day of the month, and then if that's also execute after holidays, the same the same as you can see in your bank account. So So yeah, that's how I manage my transactions. So for example, if I want to add here import or scan, for example, I will scan, so it will search into my folder, my computer. And for example, here it's this one from Tibet. That's this one. So I want to eat something just before the talk. So it's a really recent one. So there's no cheating. And let's try to add it. So as you can see, it sends the receipt to Mindy, to the service, and then it comes back with the information. And it's parsed, and it's a JSON that comes back. And as you can see, it finds the title, it's Tibet, then the amount. Sometimes when there is the amount in euros, it chooses the euros amount, so you have to be careful. Then the date and the hour. So just before the talk. And then the category is always taking the last one that I used. So there is no guessing because it's way too complicated. For COP, you can go to the restaurant, it's a professional fee, or you can do some groceries, anything. So it's way too complicated to try to guess what it is. Yeah. So yes, meal outside, and add the transaction. And now it's added. Here, inside the transaction, you can see the last one is here. It was added. And then you can see here, you can see the information and download the receipt. So I can keep track of almost anything. And now let's try to search. So Tibet, and I don't specify anything. It will list all the times I went to Tibet. I really like this place. Yeah, it's fake for some parts. So I can see here that's the one I just added. But what is interesting is I can see Tibet, but only for June. And now, whoops, you can see it's not working quite well. It's quite interesting with Algolia sometimes. And now, if I precise the year, it's working. But maybe I have to adjust. That's quite interesting. And sometimes I do my recap of the month, and I search for something, and there is no result, but I know I have a transaction. I can quickly add it here, so I don't have to come back, add again, because for me the purpose, the goal, is to go as quickly as possible. Because sizing transactions and all stuff is very boring, it's very long, and for me the goal is like, okay, let's try to do this the fastest possible. For example, I have other transactions on my computer, so I can import multiple transactions. So here I have several others. Open. Now it has imported all the files, but it stays aside for, now you can see 4 receipts are waiting. So now I can see the receipt or process. Now it's processing. Again, when you're demoing your side project, sometimes that's the first one. But as you can see here, I already entered this amount or this. So it tells me maybe there is already a transaction, so I don't enter the same transaction twice. So I can really check. So I can delete it or add it anyway. So when I add it, it will add a second. But then it should, now, so the transaction has been added, and as you can see, there is the next one waiting for the check. So now I can check, okay, everything seems okay. There is already one, and I can add it. Now it's working because it's always sending it to Mindy and coming back. That's why it takes a bit time. And now there is another one, and I can also add it. Now, yeah, I'll stop here, but that's also very handy when I don't have the time, but I have all the picture of my receipt. I can just do it later. One of the goals was also at the end of the year, you have to pay your taxes, you have to start telling what's went in and out. And so I have here the reports, and I can see for this year what was in and out, and it's very handy to just, okay, that's the amount, that's the total revenue and stuff like that. So it's very handy, very nice year. And then also when you're like subject to, I don't know the name in German, or VAT, TVA, it's the, and so I have also the resume. So I just have to pick the number. As you can see here is number 200. That's when you fill the form, it's like there is a number. You just fill where it needs to. So it takes really less time to finish this very administrative and boring part. And also I can go back in time and see what's the past years also, which is quite nice. So yeah, that's a bit of the application. It's for me working really nice, and it's very handy. I have also a web app on my phone, so it's always with me. So when I have to scan anything, it's really nice. Another interesting part for this application, for the revenue specifically, I have developed another small application for managing my project. And this is based on Flux now. And here I can, it's just for showing. I won't show you the whole application, but I can create a new project, select the client, Laravel meetup, oops, description, and create the new project. Then navigate to the project. So here. And then let's imagine the project is now finished. I have to invoice the client, so I can create an invoice. Let's say something, add a specification line, also something with an amount. Let's say 500. Whoops, see? I was too fast. So yeah, that's good, I think, yeah. Classic. And now here I have the invoice. And I can say, okay, now the client has paid the invoice, and let's mark it as paid. And first, these two applications are linked. So if I just show you the integrations, I have here with Laravel Sanctum, which also gave me the ability to learn how it works, so I can connect these two applications. So if I come back, now let's say, okay, it's paid. Now the content has been saved and it's marked as paid here inside my project application. And when I come back here and I go to transactions, as you can see here now, there's a new transaction, which is the payment of the client, which is really good. And now I can't remember the amount here, but it was also updated. Whew. So a few bits. How does it work? So let's see a bit of code. Oops. Can I go? Yeah. Here is most of the application is working on Alpine and Livewire and some controllers and API calls. And here is the component. It's a really basic component, a Livewire component for scanning the receipt. And here there are some rules. And when the file is updated, I call a method here, which is receipt OCR, and I give it the uploaded file. And then here down, I have the API call to Mindy, and I send all the data. And then I get back the response here. And then when the response is called back, I call another LiveWire component using a wire modal, which is really handy also here. And then when this component will show me the result parts, like you saw just before. And so it's validate, scan, receive. And here I have also some rules, nothing really fancy. Here I get the result from the response. Then I get the similar. It's just like querying, okay, it's something like similar. And then when I add the transaction, now it starts really the event sourcing process. So here is I create the event, and I have a scan transaction event. And then I dispatch, I persist the transaction in the database. Then I send some events for closing the models or stuff like that, or the toaster for the notification. And then inside my transaction aggregate routes is where I have all my event. I don't know how to say it exactly, but here I have add transactions, I have import transaction that I also showed you. For each action, I created an event, so I can see afterwards, okay, this was, maybe there is a bug, and I wanted to see from where it came from. So that's why I really segmented all the parts, all the actions. I have import, I have the scan, I add audio, that was a test, like recording on WhatsApp, sending to API, to OpenAI, then trying to guess what I said and give me the stuff, but it wasn't working really well, so for now it's not. So yeah. And I have a lot of other actions from webhook, from anything. And then inside the projector, which is more like a listener, when it will respond depending on the event it will receive. So here I have all the events, and for example, the first one on transaction added, and here I will add the transaction to the database to a table called transaction. And that's then on the website when I list all the transactions and stuff like that. So that's a bit all how the system works. It's always the same for almost anything. So that's why I wanted just to show you my way to use the event sourcing system. Which is quite nice here is I can replay the events. And for example, I need to know how much money I spent or I give away for the last 10 years. I can create a new model, a new database with the structure, and then create a new projector. And then when I replay the event just for this specific action, I can just have the data from the beginning in a few minutes, which is quite nice because I don't care about the, I have now to start with new data. I just use all the data I already have and then mix them and create new data. Phew. That was it. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know. So, thank you.
Yeah, one, and first of all, very cool project. It seems super useful if you're a freelancer or have your own company, especially with the VIT and the other billing service. Very cool. I have a question to the multiple receipts you have there. It looks like if you process multiple receipts, which you have in the queue, you always wait until one is there, and as you click, you send it to Mindy.
Yeah.
You don't do it in the background. Have you never thought about that, to give it to jobs, because it's...
The problem for me is I use shared hosting, so I can launch the workers for the jobs.
Okay.
So it's forbidden by the. So I have to change the service for that.
Which version of Livewire did you use in this project?
Which
The version of Livewire.
now it's the latest one. The latest one.
Okay.
Free. Oh yeah, it's always up to date. I try
Okay.
to, and that's also my way to test how is an update working great, because I use some of external packages. So
Yeah.
it's always a good check before for my client project. So
Okay.
it's quite nice.
Thanks. Is it good? It works good with the Livewire.
Yeah, for some, like the when you have the receipt processing receipt, first for closing the model and then sending another one, I was like, I had to cheat a bit.
Yes, I had
But
the
I have
same.
another middle model that is like replaced, because I couldn't make it work for the at the first time, but
the first
since
time.
it worked, so it's working. So, but yeah, we'll see. Now it's more like I'm using it, developing some more stuff. Like one I didn't show you is like adding a professional trip, which is quite nice. But I don't drive, so it doesn't help me. But for example, if I go to my work in Beuve, and then I calculate the distance, it's giving a call to open route.
Yeah.
And now it's waiting. So I should add some feedback, because now it's working, I think.
It's the same town.
Hmm?
It's the same arrival and departure.
Not sure if, because if I don't specify any address, the first one had the address, should calculate for this address to the center of the town.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. See, 44.
Okay,
Maybe it
44.
was this.
Yeah.
And then now it
Okay.
has calculated 44 kilometers, which you can then add. I don't know the amount, but you can tell this in your taxes stuff. Then I can add the transaction here. And now if I come back to transactions, you have here the professional journey.
Yeah.
Already. And you can see there is a PDF. Let's hope it has worked. No, it doesn't. It should have given me the map with the road from start to finish.
Interesting. Yeah. Good.
So yeah, it didn't work. Let's try it just again, just for fun. Let's try it from. That's not right. No. Geneva, let's try again. No, still not. I think there is something not well going on, but let's try it. But I think it won't. Yeah, it won't work. Yeah, no. Sorry. Yeah.
Is
So,
the PDF with the map needed for taxes? I'm just asking for a friend.
it's for a friend, and yeah, it's so I could learn how to generate a path on the map with the API. So it's more like having fun with some technology.
Not needed for taxes.
Not me, no.
Okay.
But
It's just like a fun project to see a
Yeah.
map. It's not needed for tax purposes. As you don't have to give maps.
no,
I will transfer that to my friend. Yeah.
But I'm sure the tax authorities would appreciate it if you sent a map.
of course. But yeah, so sadly I couldn't show it to you. But, yeah. I don't drive, so don't care. But So yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, just like a note, like Philip did. It looks very well done. It's like very fine-tuned for your use case.
Yeah.
I personally use different budgeting apps over the years and just switched to a different one. And always there's like one screen where I think it needs an improvement there. And like the thing you did on the basically your reconciliation step when you go through your month, where you have like an input form at the top, like, wow. So easy, and you can just go through, and
Also, when I check, I can here go to June 26, but then I can go back and see for each days, okay, I have this one, and then when I compare with my bank balance and reports, I can see, okay, I have 2 transactions on this day, wait, there is none, there is a problem, or I missed something, or, so yeah, it's quite handy.
Sorry, I have to ask this. Maybe you have a general subscription if you don't drive, but let's assume you don't. And since you not drive and the route for professional commuting is very important, have you thought about to do an integration of SBB tickets?
Yes, I tried, yeah, that's another good point. I don't have any example here, I think, but I try to search. Let's try.
CFF, excuse me.
Yeah. So, here, Yves Amsterdam, Laracon. But it's not the one I wanted to show. Oh, yeah, here. Here I have the CFF ticket. I tried to see if there is an API for the SBB. I haven't found one quite, it's quite obscure how I can get. If anyone has information, I will gladly take it. So I changed
As far as I know, it's bloody expensive because
Okay.
a big tourism page where we
Oh,
are
yeah.
currently working
Okay.
on wants to go away from the SBB connection because it's kind of
Okay.
They switched the system several years ago because I know that a colleague of mine had a service like that where he always gets the cheapest tickets,
Oh, yeah.
and they closed it for good.
So my workaround, I changed the email of my SBB account, and I gave it to an email from Mail Parser. So all the emails are sent to this service, and then it parsed the mail, and then it sent me back to my application, and then I have some information on the mail, like you can't open this in your mail, open it in your browser. So I have an URL with the recap of the ticket. And then I get this, I transform it into a PDF, and you can see here, I have the mail from the CFF as a ticket. So it's like going up, down, and, but it's quite. But it's working, so. And again, I learn stuff. I try to, found an API something, but so yeah, I try to sneak into another solution. So yeah, I have this bizarre email on the Swiss pass. It's like
What is he doing?
but as from time to time, I have to check the mail parser because there are sometimes important mail like your house tax. You have to.
Invoices,
Yeah. So yeah.
Have you thought about just doing like your email with a plus sign and a username and then having it forward to that parser so that it would come to your
I have
inbox anyway?
tried this kind of solution which wasn't working. I tried for another project, so I didn't consider this.
Yeah.
This
I do that
solution,
for
but,
I do that for work all the time. My bank can
Okay,
take and just parse receipts and have the expenses for me. So like my bank can do a lot of this stuff for
Yeah.
my business account. And so there's certain things that they just come into my email address with a plus and the username that automatically gets forwarded to my bank and everything gets reconciled.
I should try maybe this. Yeah. Also, most of the services you have presented to you are not free, but in very low used amount is free. So with my use, it's almost free for anything. So that's also quite nice. So it's more like a quota use. So there is not enough data to really start. So quite nice.
Any more questions? And a big round of applause for Yves.
Thank you.
Thank you.